Hello and good morning. This is Painlessly and Confidently into the Cloud Option Framework for Azure, presented for you by Informator. Hello, my name is Sasha, and I'm Microsoft Security MVP and Microsoft Azure MVP as well as Regional Director, and I have been involved with the cloud since the Azure beginnings, but playing with computers since late 80s. I'm also Microsoft Certified Trainer, MCT Regional Lead, and I do security mostly and cloud. Without further ado, let's take and see what's on our agenda today. So this is the introduction to the Cloud Option Framework. Cloud Option Framework is a comprehensive document and strategy document. We are just grasping the first parts of it, trying to explain what it is, and giving you information how to get started with Cloud Option Framework, demystifying what it is actually. And we will be dealing with the beginning of the Cloud Option Framework and telling you what the overview of the Microsoft Cloud Option Framework for Azure and the first two steps, how to define a strategy and putting together a Cloud Option plan. There is, of course, a little bit more, but then you can find this at the different webinars that we put through that you can find online, as well as the www.informator.se page. And this one, in fact, is about the overview of the Microsoft Cloud Option Framework for Azure. So what it is, in fact, the Microsoft Cloud Option Framework for Azure, it's in fact the document that will help you through your cloud adoption journey. So it is the full lifecycle framework that enables cloud architects and IT professionals and business decision makers. But what it is, in fact, the Microsoft Cloud Option Framework means changing how you do business, not just swapping out technology, but changing the enterprise culture behind it and you too as well. The Cloud Option Framework brings together people, in fact, processes and technology, a strategy that is aligned to the business goals and allows you to quickly, efficiently, and with actionable guidance provide the organization the agile business transformation from on-premises to cloud. And if you want to achieve your cloud adoption goals, you need a framework that covers the whole life cycle of cloud adoption, and that is what, in fact, the cloud adoption framework is. It has 9 pillars that can help you. That's what the Microsoft Adoption Cloud Framework for Azure does. It helps cloud architects and business decision makers and to design and implement business and technology strategies for the cloud. And in fact, it is tailored more to the companies that have not yet gone to the cloud, or that they have just begin their cloud journey, cloud transformation journey. But I would say these are extremely valuable documents. So even if you have if you have already gone and adopted the cloud, if you have already gone to the cloud and adopted some cloud technologies, or even if your cloud transition period is still going on, the cloud adoption framework is still a very good document, a very valuable document that will give you a lot of information how, in fact, to get started with a cloud and what to do and what not to, because it offers the best practices. It offers the advice, best practices, documentation, and tools that you can make your cloud adoption successful. So it is you can then use it to align the business and technical strategies to better and to ensure the success. So in fact, what it is based on cloud adoption best practices that someone already had done, that figure out what works and what didn't work, and that means from Microsoft employees, from Microsoft partners, from Microsoft customers like you, like me, like us, and it gives you the comprehensive tools and guidance and narratives and that can shape the technology business and people's strategies to get the best business outcome from the cloud adoption effort. So instead of wondering what's good and what's not too good, what to do and what not to do, Then we have the cloud option framework that supports all of this. So we in fact can get started without making a wrong move, let's say. So it's an iterative process that supports business needs. So like the picture it's depicting, so it is a comprehensive strategy that can help you on your cloud adoption journey. That, like I mentioned, it is the experience of partners and employees, customers, and then it starts with your vision. So you have to have your vision for cloud adoption by working cross-functionally with your finance, marketing, sales, HR departments, and so on. So it's not just being in the trend. So it's not that you just wake up one morning and say, okay, we are going to cloud because our competitors are going, and just because we want to be very cool and we want to be in the cloud as well. Of course, this is not how the businesses operate, but in fact, you have to have the vision why you want to go to the cloud. What are your current limiters on premises? What are business blockers, for example? And of course, to know what's good for you and to make a decision why to move to the cloud, then you have to have also the very good knowledge of what cloud actually can do for you. So then you have to work, of course, to overcome these blockers. And in fact, after you figure out why the cloud is good for you, then you start with planning and start with moving, adopting the other phases. So across, it is not just one. It shouldn't be the decision of just one man or one department, neither C-level or IT department or finance or marketing, but actually a consensus is a cross functionality that should be cross consensus uh, should be achieved, and we need to you have to define your clear motivations, why you're adopting cloud, what are in fact are defined business outcomes. So what results do you expect to see from adopting the cloud? Very clear. So is it financial gain? Is it consolidation? Is it security? It is both. It is X, Y, Z reasons. So it is there a business justification? How will the business measure success? Will be I don't know, faster adoption, actually faster development, or more customers, which means actually more money. So the cloud option framework actually can help you to build an actionable cloud option plan with strategic and tactical inputs, for example, that define your workloads and assets, and align your organization and to the skills necessary and to the plan. And the plan will, in fact, unite the organization in a cross-team initiative that together will forecast, budget, implement, and manage its success. So the approach should be, well, it doesn't have to be, but it should be agile, but it have to be. And then you should consider security, governance, cost optimization, and hybrid cloud awareness, for example. And of course, that the organizations are changing by moving towards modernization with challenging new markets, products, customer engagement, then you can be more successful. So as the organization evolves, also the cloud option framework adapts to your business needs. So this, in fact, is and all these parts are iterative phases that advances your business through the complete life cycle of cloud adoption. So we have different parts, and you can choose the best phase to your degree of cloud adoption maturity. So it is offering, in fact, a guiding methodology to cloud adoption with specific approaches to overcoming common blockers, for example, like define strategy, plan, etc., etc. And it is, in fact, it offers the enterprise a model or framework of how to incrementally onboard to the cloud. It shifts cloud adoption, in fact, shifts how companies obtain, make use of, and lock down their technology resources. And in this kind of model or framework, it flips actually the model how enterprises operate. Transitions organizations to need-based consumption of technology resources actually can change from capex to opex, and also the security governance customization is better and more efficient. The cloud actually lets you access and manage technology resources in a different way. So instead of owning and running everything yourself, you can use the cloud to get what you need, of course, when you need it. And in fact, it gives you the many options to design your solution. In fact, the cloud option framework actually focuses on technical guidance for Microsoft Azure. Some may say that they have not decided on a cloud provider yet, or may want to use more than one cloud provider. And then the framework also offers these cloud neutral guidances for strategic decisions whenever possible. So let's take a look at some possible motivations for cloud adoption and what some common blockers are that the cloud adoption framework can help resolve. Before that, we just let's take a look at the different pillars. We have to define the strategy, then, like I mentioned, define business justification and expected outcomes, and then plan accordingly. So this is the two things that we will mention in this part of the series. Then again, after that comes the readiness, where we prepare people, processes, and environment for the change. Still, we haven't done the change yet. And then we adopt the cloud. So we migrate, innovate. There are multiple phases in between there. Implement what have been done, what have we done in the first three phases, implement all desired changes across IT and business processes, and so on. So, well, once we've done it, then of course we have to govern, manage. There's also, of course, missing from the slide, secure the cloud. We have to comply, control, security cloud. Well, that's part of the governance, but actually, since I'm a little bit security biased, I would emphasize security to be implemented from the very beginning. So from defining strategy and plan, and that means also the security should be the part of every pillar, not just governing and managing once you are in the already adopted cloud, but during the defined strategy and plan phases as well. Well, anyway, let's look at some possible motivations for cloud adoptions and some common blockers. So there's no single typical cloud adoption motivation in cloud adoption. Typically, there are more than one. It's like I mentioned, it's an iterative process. There can be many motivations for why an organization is planning digital transformation. And moving to the cloud is a big decision that affects both businesses and technical aspects of the organization. So it's not enough to say we're moving to the cloud because our competition when there or our C-level or our management told us so. So that these answers or justifications are not justifications or the answers. So these do not explain all the benefits and goals of cloud adoption. So without a clear and compelling reason, it might be harder for the organization to succeed in cloud. So, and you will be less efficient, less secure, or the cloud adoption will be more costly than you expected, and so on. And as the adoption can support different types of business transformations depending on the goals and the needs of the organization, you may have more than one reason. And you should identify your main motivations, in fact, to use them to shape the technology adoption strategy. So if you need to respond to urgent business needs, for example, then if you need to respond to these urgent business situations needs, then of course you should start migrating to the cloud as soon as possible. But even while we're still planning and strategizing, but in this way you can learn from the experience and improve the process along the way. But of course we have the framework, we have the cloud adoption framework that can help you with that, and it's good that we have that with all the supporting documents and experience distilled in one. If you want to migrate the existing workloads, then you should plan before you start carefully, of course, and then also you could also try to migrate one workload first to see how it goes and what challenges you may face, and then learn from that. Then, of course, if you want to innovate and create new solutions in the cloud, then you should invest more time and resource in planning and strategizing, for example. Then you have also moving for the reasons of the top here. Um, in this table, it's common but not the most impactful way of cloud adoption. So these reasons are important to achieve, but they can also lead to other more valuable benefits. For example, initial step of moving to the cloud, it's often called migration, yes, but it in fact starts with a long way before that. And the cloud option framework has a micro methodology that helps you plan and execute cloud migration. Some reasons are more suitable, for example, I don't know, more sustainability goals, increased cost savings, or I don't know, reduced vendor lock-in or technical complexity, optimizing operations, increasing agility, scaling to market demand, scaling to geographic demand, whatever it is, or to innovate better. Um, again, transforming product services, improving customer experience, engagement, and so on. So whatever it is, it is in fact, we need to have specific goals, drivers, and expected outcomes, right? Uh, as as we move to the cloud, as you adopt for example, if you migrate existing workloads. So, for example, here are some steps that enable the customer journey of accelerate migration. For example, aligning stakeholders. That means gaining agreement on migration motivations, capturing desired business outcomes, and measuring with metrics. Again, partner services and programs that are different that can support your migration journey. Again, gathering data and analyzing at a step three, assets and workloads. So it is validating the business case by using data about the current state environment. Step four is making a business case, evaluating the high level return for a potential cloud migration, for example. Ensure that all stakeholders agree on that. On step five is to create migration plan, for example, and using the cloud option plan template. Workload alignment. There is a way to define or need to define workloads in a backlog, and so on. Enabling or aligning with people and time, establishing iteration and releases for migrated workloads in a timely manner, for example. And again, building a skill readiness plan and deploy then aligning zones, for example. Then you might say, okay, let's migrate the first 10 workloads or five. It's an iterative process. Assess, deploy, release. So assess each batch of workloads, then replicate functionality, then test, optimize, document, and so on. And then, of course, hand off production workloads to cloud governance in step 9. So as well as in 10. And then you have their need to establish management, business uh, baselines and expand those as well, for example. Anyway, this is just one way how we can do it. So this is for example, migrating existing workloads, but there are different strategies for building new product and services, for unblocking environment design and configuration, and so on. Whatever you do, there is the possibility to there is the cloud option framework covers it for you, and we have also, well, Microsoft has it on their website, and we, as well as customers and users, we have getting started guides that you could use as your roadmap through the cloud option framework to overcome common blockers, for example. Getting started with a cloud option framework, but also you have the tools, templates, and assessments available, for example, to define strategy, to plan, to ready, adopt, to govern, and manage. There are a lot of them, but there are different assets, for example. But there is also, well, I would emphasize three: Cloud Journey Tracker and Strategic Migration Assessment Readiness Tool and Governance Benchmark, and some others as well. For example, capturing the state of your cloud adoption using the Cloud Journey Tracker, and that is in fact something that is available in here. So you have Microsoft assessments. For the well-architected review, that is something that comes after the cloud adoption framework, but we have different lens or different strategies. There it is, cloud adoption strategy evaluator, different assessments for defining, for planning, for preparing, for adopting, and governing and managing. Of course, we have uh, there is a button to browse all available assessments right there, where you can see the different cloud adoptions assessments, as well as landing zone reviews, etc. Again, the tools that I've mentioned are right here at the Cloud Adoption Framework webpage. So the tools and templates that can support you and give you help you to quickly implement some technical changes for the different phases in the strategy phase, for planning phase, for the readiness phase, and so on. So there are a lot of tools, templates, but as well decision guides for different workloads and so on. Again, if you have a specific adoption journey or scenario, then there are also different scenarios. For example, VMware solutions or high performance computing, but also some different adoption journeys, for example, that can help you with that. And also, very important is that each pillar has its anti-patterns to avoid. So this is the page of the cloud option anti-patterns, and each of the, for example, let's take a look at the strategy. There is there it is, plan anti-patterns. If we go to the readiness, then it's the red anti-patterns. So what these have, anti-patterns are actually something that you should avoid, that the cloud option framework actually addresses. And these are typical anti-patterns or actions that people made that have been identified. There are usual mistakes that you should avoid, and these are synthesized right here and provide a very valuable inside information what to do. Actually, how to avoid these anti-patterns and how to do the right thing, not the wrong thing. So the first two phases that are very important that we focus on is defining a strategy, where we will in fact define the strategy, and that will be the defining motivation, business outcomes, business justification, and identifying first project. So defining strategy with the business outcomes means that we are in fact preparing for conversation with different personas, with financing, marketing, sales, I don't know, human resources, etc., where we define the fiscal outcomes. Is actually the cleanest business outcome for many business leaders, but not the only one, like financial gain, right? Then the agility, then the reach outcomes, customer engagement outcomes, performance, sustainability, and so on. Then we have to develop business justification. So in fact, also create a business case for cloud migration phase. That will be there are different components, in fact, where you have to that you have to consider when planning a business case. That will be financial data, for example, migration timeline, Azure costs, cloud savings, and baseline environment scope, for example. How much it does, common questions that regarding the finance. How much does the cost to run my environment today? Will the cloud be more expensive or less expensive? It depends on how well you plan, and you should here as well in your cloud journey use the 80-20 rule. So 80% of planning, 20% of execution, like with everything in life. So that is proven to be the right ratio. So the more you invest in planning, the less painful the transition will be, or the more effective the transition will be to cloud. For example, what are the forecasts for example on your premises cost if you don't migrate to cloud? What are the blockers and forecast your on-premises cost when you migrate to the cloud? For example, in an Azure scenario, there are total cost of ownership. There are Azure calculators and so on. The more data you fill in, the more the more detailed you are in planning and in strategizing, the best outcome will be. What else? There are different cloud savings that you can also achieve with a cloud, and there are some common cloud migration myths and anti-patterns that you will, as you go with a strategy and planning, that you will see that and overcome. Most important thing, or actually one of the important things, would be also to in fact specify the strategy and identify the first project to move to the cloud by using this clearly defined criteria. And that could be anything. It could be your major business project. It can be some side project that you will, a non-impactful project, a non-critical one that you'll for example use for learning and for gaining experience. And that's something that some organizations do as well, as they move some non-critical workloads, as they learn about migration, and they reiterate the steps, overcome um, the mistakes that have made, and then they're ready, better suited, with more experience when it comes to migrating the real project or the main business, for example. And then set the real expectations. So the first project and first migration is source of learning. That doesn't mean that you have to do it badly, but there certainly won't be as good as the second or third or the fourth one, of course, because you will then know what are the blockers and overcome some. You will address these the steps, actually the mistakes that you made in the first migration with the second one. So use it. This first project examples for each motivation category, for critical business events, for some innovation motivations or migration motivations, and so on. And then when you've done it, then there's time to put together a plan, and that would be again rationalize digital estate and do the initial organizational alignment to prepare, do the skill readiness plan, and also perform a cloud option plan. So rationalizing digital estate, what is it actually? So the rationalization is in fact it is what is a digital estate. In fact, the estate, it is any digital asset that you are here, that you have, like a physical estate, like a physical thing that you have. The digital estate is the digital, I would say, valuable thing that you have in digital format. So it's an abstract reference to the collection of digital assets that you have, that might be maybe your web shop, or your products that you do, your I don't know, courses that you do, or the products that you sell, whatever it is, or documents. The digital estate, of course, can be measured in during the migration, but also during the planning. And of course, defining a digital estate is also, to define the digital estate, we also have to have the rationalization included, which is in fact um, rationalization is actually the process where we evaluate assets and the best way how to migrate or modernize these assets, or each asset in the cloud. And there are 5 R's of the rationalizations. For example, these are the rehosting, refactoring, re-architecting, rebuilding, and replacing. And each of these R's are actually will take a little bit more time to explain, but these are the ones that we will explain eventually in some subsequent webinars. Then again, we need to perform a initial organization alignment. What it means that well, the important aspect of cloud adoption plan, one of the most important aspects, some would say the most important aspect is also alignment of the people who make the plan a reality, and that's I agree to that. So and until you understand completely the people related aspects, then you can't have um, the organization migrated in the right way. So the point is to create a balance between speed moving quickly and control reducing risk, in fact. And skill readiness plan is in fact a plan for cloud adoption where we have to align strategy and planning, and it starts with a well-defined strategy. So that's the first thing. But also, at the minimum, strategy should also outline the motivations and business outcomes, like we measured. The building the cloud adoption plan also should have clearly defined prerequisites and clearly define and prioritize workloads, align assets to the workloads, and also rationalize decisions. So each decision should be rationalized to define adoption path decisions, migrate or innovate, and so on. And then establish iterations and release plans. So these are the time blocks allocated to the work, for example, where the releases are a definition of the work to be done before triggering a change. And then, of course, we need to estimate timelines. So rough timelines for releasing planning purposes based on initial timelines should be done, of course. What else? These are in fact, the things that we've mentioned: prerequisites, defining prioritized workloads, first 10, first one, 2, 5, to establish initial adoption backlog. So it doesn't have to be 10. There's just a suggestion, of course. But the planning for cloud adoption can be a significant change for some organization. And in traditional ITs, this approach was entirely logical. And the capital expense request, budget allocations, equipment acquisition, and offer represented a large percentage of project execution, of course. But the adoption of the cloud actually changed the dependencies that made a sequential model necessary, of course. And to accelerate your digital transformation journey, there are the tools that can help you. So Microsoft Cloud Option Framework for Azure. There's a link. Please check it. Check the link. It has a plethora of a huge amount of very good advice, not just for the companies that haven't started yet the organization, the cloud migration journey, but also for the ones that are there as well. Because you always innovate in the cloud, you always change. The cloud is changing. You always introduce some other things, and that's where the cloud option framework also will be very valuable to you. Anyway, there's a lot more than to that. Keep an eye on the future webinars on our website. And I would like to thank you for following, and keep an eye on informator.se, and see you. Happy and successful cloud journey, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.